What do you learn about yourself when you're doing this kind of piece? What do you kind of, because you're the kind of actor who kind of, who I believe, from my observation, pulls from within and then plays with it and kind of molds it like a sculptor would.
Hmm.
But it has to come from, at least a little bit comes from a place of truth, otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So what do you learn?
I think the universality of abandonment is a theme that really ran throughout this experience for me. That in some way, on some level, I think all of us as human beings can relate to that feeling of being left behind or left out or cast aside at some point in our lives. I think everybody experiences that feeling. The degree to which we experience it, especially as young people, I think informs how we relate to one another later in life. So that was a big part of it for me, was going back into the chronology of this character, using the book, which was a great well of source material. And also, there's a graphic novel that Joe co-wrote as well called The Wraith, which is all about Charlie's history, his backstory, his relationship with the car, and using those two um, those two properties to inform my own connection to that character's journey, right? So like my father died when I was 7. That cast me into a psychology of abandonment that I've, really examined and explored and been working with for all those 30 years since that happened, 35. So there are ways in which I can relate to, I'm very fortunate to have had the instinct and the resources to be able to like look at the impact of that and understand it and like, psychologically approach it so that it didn't grip me in the same way. But I mean, Charlie went through not only abandonment but also like horrific abuse and neglect in ways that I was, fortunate to not experience. But I think that you just find those little hooks as an actor psychologically
Mm.
and interpersonally that, oh, I see how to like, I see how to have. I think it's my job as an actor to have compassion for every character I play, even the most reprehensible characters, which is I think partly why some of the darker, more twisted characters I've played have been successful, because I didn't just come at them from a point of view of like, well, this is like a two-dimensional villain. This is somebody who, whether they're supernatural, as in the case of Siler or Charlie Manx, or they're just really deeply disturbed and twisted in the real world, like Oliver Thredson from American Horror Story. It's my job to understand how they got that way, and it's my job to approach them with some degree of love. And that's just how I was taught to be an actor, and so I come to every character from that standpoint.